Hello, football enthusiasts. Welcome to Blaqsport Podcast. I am your host, like always, Insure Tuche, and I'm still on the wheel to take you through what is happening in the African Cup of Nations 2025, happening live in Morocco. It's been an interesting tournament so far, and we're now in Matchday 6 of the African Cup of Nations, with all those teams struggling to actually survive from the group stages, as we are now in the second game of the group stage of Group C and Group D. There's a whole lot experience in this features in which we have Uganda and Tanzania, and Nigeria and Tunisia, and Benin Republic to play against Botswana, and Senegal to play against Congo DR. So this is just the features, and you can see that this is really a tough game already, because both teams, a whole lot of teams are struggling to secure their 3 points. Some are also struggling to actually qualify for the group. So it's really an intense game, and so many of them are yet to win their first game of the tournament, in the likes of Botswana. So let's just have a look what happened on the next features we're going to be discussing about, which is Benin Republic and Botswana. This match is an expected result, although he started with a long goal by Roche on the 28th minute to give Benin Republic an upper hand against the Botswana. They held the game in as much as Benin had the upper hand and possession in the game. They also have more shot on target and the trials on the post, but it doesn't take away the side of Botswana, who stood to the occasion, holding the Benin Republic on a lone goal since the 28th minute of the first half down to the second half. This shows a whole lot of resilience from the team that they didn't come to play. They were not fluke at all, and that shows you what kind of game you expect in the African Cup of Nations. There's not much goals lining up in here to show you how intense and how on the toes both teams are in trying to secure 3 points for themselves. So it's really a sad one for Botswana, failing to secure 3 points in the tournament, having played their second game of the tournament. So there's still more to reflect on the group. They still have one game to play, which is going to be a very difficult one to decide if they're going to be qualified, because from where he's standing now, it's obvious that they will not be qualifying from this group. Now let's also have the next match, which is between Senegal and Congo. This was an interesting game, especially in the time that Congo stepped up the game really well ahead of the Senegalese. This is the game that I expected Senegalese to actually come up and secure an easy win, but we all know where Congo is, who actually beat both Cameroon and Super Eagles in the World Cup playoffs to actually go further ahead to compete for a place in the World Cup. So it shows you that the Congo is not an easy team to beat. They only stepped up with an early lead by Bakamu on the 61st minute before Mane responded on the 69th minute to level the game. This was an intense. This is the game that you when you leave the pitch, you leave exhausted because you left everything right there. It is a game that both teams will be happy with the result, because if it had gone either ways, it would be really a wasted effort, having shown a whole lot of energy and commitment they showed throughout the game, and it ended in a stalemate, although this time it wasn't a goalless stalemate. So it's also in terms of what is going to be looking at the table. So let's have a look what the table will be looking at in that situation. So in that situation, we have Senegal sitting on the top of the table, and what this means is with Senegal sitting on top of the table means that Congo is also there with the same points. Both of them have actually won, and they drew each other, which gave them 4 points. But Senegal has a goal difference of 3 against 1, which gave them an upper hand. Which is what I said: if you have a team that you're better than, you need to beat them as much as you can, because this is at this point we need those numbers. Every single goal counts when it comes to head-to-head to check who can actually proceed or top the table. We also have Benin, because of their first win against Botswana, give them the first 3 points and also place them at the first third place ranking. Yes, there's still much to be played, but so far against the whole team that played this the second games, they are on top, which shows you how important and crucial is it to have a 3 points at this stage. This does not take away the effort of other players in this competition. So that is about Benin and Botswana. And you also have Senegal and Congo. So let's go over to Group C and see what Group C will be looking at. So Group C, we have Uganda and Tanzania. So there's a fun thing about this game is that the Tanzania had an early lead with a penalty, and this gave them an open advantage in the game, because Uganda has to now struggle to level the game. It was really a struggle for Uganda team, despite the fact that they tried to stretch the ball as long as they can. They did a marvelous job to have that sort of, until they brought in this young guy. So this Ipazu Uche is a young guy that actually that stepped into the pitch as a substitute and changed the game. He's 30 years old and was also playing in Scotland for the John Stones, and currently this is his first debut for the Ugandan side, and it ended in a wonderful celebration. The celebration he actually had tells you so much what it means to him to score for his Uganda on his debut. It was quite a spectacular one, a diving header that actually found the back of the net. It's something they should be really proud of. Ibazu making his debut and also having a goal shows you what he's actually going to be bringing to the table. And despite having this advantage of leveling the game up by Uche at the 80th minute, they also had an advantage of having a penalty at the extra time of the game, of which Okenio sent it to the moon. I would say that it was really a heartbreaking one, because this is a time they could have sealed the game right there, having come from behind to win the game. This is something they could have been really be proud of, but it happens to, that's football. It is what it is. You win some and you lose some. So it's also ended in a stalemate of 1-1, notwithstanding the effort of both teams. Really, in Uganda side tried to pull up some whole lot of strength. It was a really tactical game, especially from Uganda side, going with so much long balls and trying to stretch the game. That actually came to the advantage at the end of the game that led to the goal from Ipazu. So it's really something we need to appreciate when we see wonderful football be executed by the Ugandan side. And Tanzania hold their firm. Most people say Uganda really play very well, try to contain them. That's why they push back, especially when they were leading. They had to hold it 1-0 to the end, but unfortunately the 30-year-old force Uche said no to it. And if O'Kelly have actually converted his penalty, this should have been a very good win for the Ugandan side. But like I said, it is what it is. You win some, you lose some. You're still in the game. You still fight for shit. That's what we do here at African Cup of Nations. So that also brings us to the next game of the tournament, which is you have Nigeria and Tunisia. This is the peak of the peak of the day. The super Saturday match of the African Cup of Nations, where you have Nigeria to face against Tunisia, having Nigeria, who actually went straight up with 2 goals up in advantage, which was Sime scoring his first goal of the tournament, and Didi also finding the back of the net with a good celebration of the icon Kanu. It was really a spectacular one. And not too long, we had an equalizer by Taubi at the 74th minute before Abadi scored on the 84th minute from a penalty box, which was from a handball course. I think it is you can actually give the Tunisian side their flowers, because they tried to change the tempo of the game towards the second half of the game. That's after some changes has been made by the Super Eagles team, and it was really a tactical one. And Lukman scored the 3rd goal that was really fascinating. Just to let you know, to give you the context of this, Super Eagles, who have already been winning 3-0 before Tunisia started equalizing to 3-2. You know what it means when you score 1, you had a penalty, so the tempo is on, the morale is high for you to equalize and go for a win. But it happens to be that it didn't exceed that. Lukman had a fantastic goal from a pass from Osime, in which he dribbled his way through to find the back of the net. And you can also see a wonderful pass from Iwobi that actually secured the win for Osimhen. So if you look at this, it is good to point out how good and little the force, the Super Eagles force is. We have Akol doing a press conference. Was asked what do you think about the force of his partnership with Osimhen. He left with just 2 words in which he said it is terror. So that means it's calm terror. You know what it means? They are terrorizing all the whole opponents they actually meet. It was a good partnership they have them both throughout this tournament, and this is the first we're seeing them having these combinations, and it's been really been working, having given them the lead that they actually having. There was 6 points in the back. That also talked about Iwobi's importance in the game. He has a whole lot of straight up passes that actually went in the game. He actually gave a wonderful cross also to Osimhen. He has been instrumental to the success stories of Super Eagles this tournament. And last tournament, we all know how it went. At the beginning, we got a backlash of a whole lot of critics from the fans. This tournament, he's really the star boy of this team, and I wonder where Super Eagles will be at this point without Iwobi, who stepped up in the midfield, showing his mastery, his dominance, and his experience in that midfield. It's really good to see him step up like this, to show a whole lot of character and resilience in putting the team together and finding the right pass and delivering them at the right time. So if you have a good look at this, so let's see what this will look at on the table. Looking at this, we go to Group C. Obviously, with this situation just happened, Super Eagles of Nigeria has actually qualified for the next phase. So having qualified for the next phase gives them a good advantage because they now have 6 points in the bag against any other team in the tournament as it stands. So let's see. I'm still trying to get that up. Perfect. So here it is. So you have Nigeria and on the top position with 6 points, the only team to actually secure the 6 points in the bag. In this group, we have Tunisia having won one, lost one. They lost against Nigeria. And Tanzania yet to win a game, but have actually drawn alongside with Uganda, which is what point me the point that Uganda and Tanzania need the win, despite the fact they settled on a stalemate, which they have no control over because they are unable to step up. But this is what it looks like at this stage. Nigeria is through, so it's now left for everybody wait for the third game to see what's going to be decided between Tunisia, Tanzania, and Uganda. It's an open game for them at this stage. What Tunisia would need to qualify is if they could actually get a good draw who plays them on the 4 points, and at this stage other teams also need a win. So I would actually advise for them to have a good win, to not to worry about who wins or be punch calculators. And it's also nice to have Super Eagles of Nigeria not be in a situation that they need to be punching in calculators like before. So so far, I don't know what your thoughts are. I would say this tournament has been really top notch. It has lived up to all expectation. From the kickoff till right now, all teams have been in total dominance and full force, full throttle to actually get the prize. All road leads to the prize, which is to be crowned the champions of Africa. It's not really an easy game. You can see a whole lot of quality I've seen throughout this tournament. Once this whole group stage is all done, we're going to analyze and talk about the players we've been seeing that have been outstanding in this game. A whole lot of them showing a whole lot of bright stars. And don't forget that Uche Ikpeazu also had his debut with a long goal for the Uganda side, which also gives him a good boost to celebrate as he finds the back of the net for the first time for his national team. So this also brings me to the point of Robert Song, who's worried about players who are world class, and it's also what's mentioning that we have 2 two superstars who are world class. Former African Best Player of the Year 2023 with Victor Osimhen. Next have Lookman 2024. Shows how important they are to Africa, having with the African Best Player, and also both of them found the back of the net. I can say this, that class is not something that is being won by the word of mouth, but is won on the pitch. And these both players have shown what it means to be an absolute class when in the field of play. So I'll leave that to you guys to decide who world class it actually means and what it means to people of Africa, because right here is the two African best players that have actually played it on the highest level and actually brought glory to the African continent. So I will wrap this on match day 6 of the African Cup of Nations, and it's good to actually let you know that we are still on tomorrow for match day 7. It's really getting intense. And don't forget to follow us on all the social media platform, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, and also on LinkedIn, on Blaqsport. But on X, you can actually follow us on Blaqsport Pod. And also follow us on all the social media platforms and on our podcast, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, also on Amazon Podcasts. And also you also have us on YouTube Podcast, Blaqsport Podcast. Just that's the way it is. And I am your host, like always, Insunet Tuche, and I'm still on the wheel, taking you through the African Cup of Nations. Stay glued and don't forget, wherever you are, Blaqsport will find you. Have a wonderful day. Ciao. Bye.